Breaking news. Social media platforms and some fringe outlets are circulating shocking claims that Yemen has launched an unprecedented barrage of 1,000 Chinese-made missiles, allegedly annihilating strategic enemy positions and reshaping the balance of the conflict in the Middle East. These dramatic headlines have sparked chaos, fear, and speculation across the region, but the crucial fact is this: there is no verified evidence to support such extraordinary allegations. Officials, defense analysts, and regional monitoring organizations are urging caution, warning the public that these claims appear to be exaggerated, unverified, and possibly part of an ongoing information war designed to manipulate global perception. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe and like my videos. The moment such a headline appears, people immediately picture fire raining down from the skies, devastating strikes, and a shift in military dominance. 1,000 missiles launched from Yemen would indeed constitute one of the largest single missile barrages in modern history, rivaling Cold War scenarios or the most dramatic Hollywood films. But reality paints a more complicated picture. No radar signatures, no satellite confirmations, and no credible reports from international defense agencies have emerged to validate the story. Instead, it seems we are witnessing how disinformation spreads faster than the truth in today's hyper-connected world. To understand why such a story caught fire, we need to look at the background of Yemen's conflict. For years, Yemen has been the stage of one of the most devastating humanitarian crises in the modern era. A civil war, fueled by proxy involvement of regional powers, has turned the country into both a battlefield and a testing ground for various forms of weaponry. From ballistic missiles to drones, Yemen has seen remarkable advancements in asymmetric warfare. Its fighters, particularly from the Houthi movement, have demonstrated the capability to launch medium and long-range attacks that have reached deep into Saudi territory, sometimes even targeting oil facilities. These real incidents give the public a frame of reference, making it easier for them to believe a claim as shocking as 1,000 Chinese-made missiles being fired at once. However, numbers matter. The logistics of preparing, loading, and simultaneously launching 1,000 missiles is staggering. Even the most advanced militaries in the world, such as the United States or China itself, would face significant operational challenges in organizing such an onslaught. Missiles are not simple to transport, store, and fire. Each requires infrastructure, support systems, fueling, and coordination. For Yemen, a country under constant blockade and bombardment, the claim stretches credibility to the breaking point. Analysts point out that while Yemen does have access to a range of missiles, including some believed to have originated from Iran and possibly reverse-engineered designs from other countries, the stockpile does not approach the alleged number. More importantly, launching them all at once without international intelligence agencies detecting it is next to impossible. Why then does such a claim spread? The answer lies in the age-old tactic of propaganda amplified by modern digital tools. Both state actors and independent groups exploit social media platforms to push narratives that benefit their strategic goals. In this case, the narrative of 1,000 Chinese missiles serves several purposes. It paints Yemen as possessing overwhelming retaliatory power, boosts the morale of its supporters, and frightens adversaries. At the same time, it casts suspicion on China's role in global conflicts, fueling speculation that Beijing is quietly supplying advanced weaponry to conflict zones despite its public posture of neutrality. It also creates confusion among international audiences who may already struggle to follow the complexities of the Yemen war. The reaction to the claim has been swift. Military experts have dismissed the story as highly unlikely, with some calling it outright fabrication. Western intelligence officials, speaking off the record, noted that no missile launches of that scale have been detected by satellite or radar networks that constantly monitor the Middle East. These systems are highly sophisticated and can track everything from small drone launches to the movement of naval fleets. 1,000 missile launches would light up the skies in data points impossible to miss. Yet so far there is nothing. This silence is telling. Meanwhile, international media outlets are approaching the story with caution, refusing to amplify the unverified claim without evidence. Instead, they highlight the dangers of misinformation in times of war. We have seen how false or exaggerated stories have been weaponized before, whether it was rumors of chemical attacks that were later debunked, or exaggerated counts of drone strikes that never occurred. Such stories can push governments toward rash decisions, escalate tensions, and even trigger military responses based on false premises. That is why information warfare is often as dangerous as missiles themselves. A lie, if believed, can move armies and shift alliances. The story also highlights the delicate role of China in global geopolitics. For years, China has maintained an official stance of non-interference in the Yemen conflict, instead focusing on economic interests across the Middle East, such as trade, energy partnerships, and Belt and Road projects. However, by associating the alleged missiles with China, propagandists may be trying to create a narrative that Beijing is secretly arming Yemen, which could cause friction between China and rival powers such as the United States or Saudi Arabia. Even the mere suggestion of Chinese-made weapons being used in Yemen adds fuel to accusations that China's influence in global arms sales is more destabilizing than it admits. Another critical angle is the psychological impact on the people of the region. For Yemenis, hearing that their side supposedly launched a massive missile attack might bring a fleeting sense of pride or empowerment, a narrative of David striking Goliath. For citizens of neighboring states, however, such news sparks fear of retaliation, escalation, and destruction. Imagine living in Riyadh or Jeddah and reading headlines that 1,000 missiles were aimed at your country. Even if untrue, the psychological terror is real, and that terror serves the purposes of those spreading the story. Let's not forget the humanitarian cost that underlies this conflict. Yemen remains one of the poorest countries in the Arab world, suffering from famine, disease outbreaks, and lack of basic services. Millions are displaced, children face starvation, and infrastructure has been shattered. In such a dire context, the claim of launching 1,000 missiles seems grotesque. How could a country struggling for survival invest such resources in building an arsenal of that magnitude? The contrast itself should raise questions in any critical observer's mind. Looking deeper, we find another layer of strategy at play. False claims of massive military actions can serve as smokescreens, distracting the world from smaller but real events. While the international community debates whether 1,000 missiles were launched, more subtle operations might be unfolding. Targeted drone strikes, territorial shifts on the ground, or clandestine arms transfers. This tactic of exaggeration followed by misdirection is not new. It has been used in conflicts from Vietnam to Iraq, where false or inflated stories masked the real maneuvers happening behind the scenes. If history teaches us anything, it is that misinformation thrives in moments of crisis. During the Cold War, both the United States and the Soviet Union spread exaggerated stories about each other's arsenals, troop movements, and nuclear capabilities to maintain psychological pressure. Today, we see the same tactics employed in the Middle East, where information itself has become a weapon of war. The claim about 1,000 Chinese-made missiles fits neatly into this pattern. It does not need to be true to achieve its purpose. It only needs to be believed long enough to sow doubt, fear, and confusion. Still, the danger is real. If adversaries take the claim seriously, they may respond militarily to prevent what they perceive as an existential threat. For example, Saudi Arabia or Israel, already wary of missile attacks from Yemen, might escalate airstrikes or launch preemptive operations based on the belief that such a massive arsenal exists. This chain reaction could push the region into even deeper chaos. That is the peril of disinformation. It turns rumor into action and fiction into policy. As we continue to monitor the story, one thing remains clear. There is no confirmed evidence that Yemen has launched 1,000 Chinese-made missiles. Instead, we are witnessing the fog of war amplified by modern technology. In the coming days, expect more official denials, more expert analyses, and perhaps even forensic investigations into the origins of this rumor. Was it generated by a state actor? Was it the work of online activists? Or was it simply the product of a misinterpreted incident blown out of proportion by viral social media posts? These questions linger. For now, the lesson is clear. In the digital age, skepticism is essential. Dramatic headlines, especially in conflict zones, should always be cross-checked against credible sources. The Yemen war is tragic enough in reality. It does not need to be exaggerated with myths of thousand missile barrages. Instead, attention should focus on finding a path to peace, alleviating the suffering of millions, and holding accountable those who use disinformation as a weapon of war. Looking ahead, the future impact of such claims could be profound. If misinformation continues to spread unchecked, it could shape global narratives about the Middle East in ways that hinder diplomatic resolution. It could paint certain actors as stronger or more dangerous than they truly are, leading to miscalculations by rival states. It could also further entrench public opinion on both sides, making compromise more difficult. And on the global stage, it could damage China's image, linking it to conflicts it may not directly be involved in. Ultimately, this story is a reminder that in modern warfare, perception is as important as firepower. Wars are fought not only with bullets and bombs, but also with rumors, headlines, and viral posts. The alleged 1000 Chinese-made missiles may never have been launched, but the claim itself has already made an impact by shaping how people think, how they feel, and how governments may react. And, in that sense, the propaganda achieved its purpose, at least for a moment. The truth, however, still matters. And in this case, the truth is simple. There is no verified evidence of this missile barrage, and until such evidence emerges, the world should treat this claim as what it likely is: an unverified story in the fog of war, designed more to manipulate than to inform.